GetYourGuide is a company that's now 15 years old, and we were originally founded with the premise to unlock unforgettable experiences for travelers around the world. And what we've seen all the way up to the COVID pandemic was nothing than very pronounced growth because people were just looking for more cultural experiences, more things to do in the city. And this is a trend that's particularly predominant for Gen Z, and it's driven by things like Instagram or TikTok. And after the pandemic, the rebound has been stronger than ever. The overall online travel agencies that are selling experiences are now on average 3 times as big as before the pandemic. So that gives you a cue to that this is a longer lasting phenomenon than just one data report.
Johannes, when you look at the number of people you've surveyed here, it was 100 million US credit card and debit accounts, a sample size of that data. But what you really pulled out of the information was that every market is different, which I think is fascinating for those that are trying to target, say, the United States versus the British spender, the German, the French spender. Just run us through some of the different preferences here.
Well, look, it's very much segmented by domestic travel versus international travel. In the US, you've seen the international travel really picking up. You have the segment which we call the super spenders, or you might want to call them the explorers, which are booking multiple weeks ahead. And that's particularly pronounced because of the very strong dollar this year. Those folks are going to Europe, Paris or France, obviously, this summer for the Olympics. And then they tend to book a lot of cultural things and museums and attractions and day trips. While on the more domestic leg, you would see a lot more family activities such as theme parks or maybe kids museums. And that is truly the pattern that you see that depending on the type of traveler and their preferences and also their passions, they will pick whatever is best for them. The beauty of the internet is, all of these experiences are now online. On GetYourGuide, you can find more than 180,000 different experiences around the world.
Johannes, there's a lot going on. Sounds all very exciting. Is this going to give your company a great platform for an eventual IPO?
So we're not thinking about an IPO right now. Ultimately, I believe that the travel industry itself, which is a $300 billion industry just in the experiences segment, so that gives you an idea of how big this market has become. Is something that we can still grow into for the next decade plus, and I'm really focused on that. And eventually, an IPO might be one of the outcomes along that journey. But to me, it's really rather growing into this total addressable market, which is still so vast.
Sure, I know we'll get back to the experience in a moment, but why are you not thinking of an IPO? You were originally trying to get one this year, and your backers have had, as you mentioned, you're a 15-year-old company. It's time, isn't it, Johannes? What are the barriers to the IPO?
There are no real structural barriers. It's really, what we deem is the best thing for the company. In the current market environment, we believe if you're very growth oriented and you're still spending to grow into the TAM, it's just better to do that as a private company as opposed to a public company. And the opportunity that we're still seeing is massive. You might have seen we've been really entering the US in a very big way this year. We just announced earlier this week that we're now the sponsor of the Brooklyn Nets, for instance. So we're really spending for awareness around this segment, which we believe is underrepresented in the media today. People talk a lot about flights and hotels and how you get there and where you sleep, but they don't really talk about experiences, despite the fact that this is a $300 billion market, and consumers are just loving it. So it's really more about growing more of that awareness before we eventually IPO.